lot of legwork. These are bigger jobs, which means we need more staff. The residential meters is just one person, but you can just imagine one person changing out 300 meters. That's gonna take us some time. But again, our job, we're doing immediate over the next month or two, is to go and do the assessment and then come and request
And some on those zero consumption, they have gone out and they have looked at some. And some of it is just that they were installed wrong, the get-go by JCI. So when they installed them, some of them were installed backwards. So then that's an easy fix. So that's what's wrong with some of those that we have found. So once we, in the next couple of months, we can get those zero consumptions on the list and assess those.
And we need to look on that, and part of that replacement is we just need to replace the register, or we need to replace the whole meter. The whole meter, of course, is more money, kind of what you see here. The registers are relatively inexpensive, maybe
About 70 bucks.
70
Yeah, $200 for the meter and about $70 for the register. It's just the register.
On those zero consumption, are we getting any like feedback from the resident? You know, like
residents will not
negative?
give you feedback.
Fighting
on
it.
zero consumption.
No, I mean, that's what I'm getting to. I mean, we're getting something out of it, aren't we?
They're still getting billed.
They're still
Right.
getting the bill.
It's a minimum bill.
It's
and
a
so-
minimum bill.
Because your bill is based on your minimum fee plus consumption. So if that's the way the structure of our fee structure works. But the folks that are not, the meters are not working, the chances of them saying, my meter's not working is not very likely.
Well, I'm just asking because of what we haven't collected that's 90 days past due or whatever. Is that any part of that or?
No, that's something that those 90 days past due is just stuff that we need to collect from COVID stuff. I won't say all of it, but a big portion of it is just folks that owe money.
And these meters, are they read manually or they?
We drive.
Drive.
Yes, sir.
And so do we anticipate that being this fiscal year, or would that, for the residential part perhaps?
All the residential,
We're
I think we're
gonna-
gonna test this program here first.
We're gonna look at that, because this will take probably the month of, I would say at least the month of March, and maybe even into April. And then we need to look at with Mark, our staff over there that's doing the metering. And if we order some, maybe it could be before the end of the fiscal year. But ordering and actually installing all of them, that would be a hard thing to do between now and the end of September. For the residential meters.
Okay, any other council, any other questions, council? Looks like none. Jackie, Hector, thank you guys very much. So with that being the case, we have a motion and a second. I'll go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much, council. Going on to item 8G. Discuss and consider ordinance number 2022-0301, amending ordinance number 2022-0201, and ordinance related to towing and record services. May I have a motion for item 8G, please?
Motion to discuss?
Well, this will be a motion. It'll be a motion to move. So we got a motion by Councilman Hernandez. We got a second by Councilman Hernandez. At this time, I'm going to turn the floor over to our chief. Chief, you have the floor.
Yes, and I do believe our last meeting, we looked over the same section, same ordinance, 2022-0201, and we updated that one, we were making some changes. Captain McGee's been contacting most of the applicants. We do have much interest in the rotation list that I spoke to you about in the last month. One of the things that we looked at, one of the criteria, which is Section 8, permit requirements, letter D. There's a lot of verbiage there about the fencing that a towing company is required to have. We looked at it carefully. We did a research under TDLR guidelines and rules. They don't have all this verbiage on it. So I made a recommendation to the city manager that we change, along with the approval of our attorney Bobby, that we change it to what the TDLR regulates and directs. And this will allow many, if not all, the towing companies to submit their applications. As it is right now, I think we only have one applicant that will meet the criteria. So I want to be fair and give everybody an opportunity to be on that rotation list, as we spoke about in the last meeting, and this change will do that.
Council, do you have any specific questions for the chief? that this is your recommendation.
Yes, along with the city manager and our attorney, yes, we looked at it carefully. And it's basically, we're following what they're supposed to be following anyway under TD law.
Sounds reasonable. Council, any other questions? Not, I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Council. Chief, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 8I, discuss and consider certification of unopposed candidates for the city of Pearsall, May 7th through 8th. God, what is wrong? Thank you, city manager. I'm ready to get home to my chili and beans. All right, go back to H. Discuss and consider authorizing the city manager to issue a request for qualifications and RFQ for professional architectural services for the city of Pearsall. May I have a motion for item 8H, please? Motion by Councilwoman Hernandez, second by Councilwoman Talamontes. At this point, I'll turn the floor over to our city manager.
Mayor, Council, in your packet, you have on page 82, just my supporting memo for the issuing request for qualifications. The RFQ is gonna be sent similar to the way the engineering service RFQ is sent out, so basically, we use these architects as we need. I'd like to submit something hopefully this week, if not next week, to secure our, at least one engineering firm, possibly two. And one of the projects, or a couple of the projects, just to remind the council that I'd like to work on this year is, we talked about the tourism building, making some improvements there. And what I would be looking at, recommending to the council is, looking at improving some of the parking there and the ADA restroom, and getting it ready for the Chamber of Commerce. Other thing, and this is kind of off subject, but Bobby and I have been working, we should have I'm trying to think here. Bylaws, thank you, man. Bylaws of the chamber, hopefully in the next month or two. We'd like to share that with the council and with the community and businesses. But as part of that, we'd like to get the tourism building going. The other request is gonna be for the Civic Center, making some improvements out there, particularly as Councilman alluded to, the restrooms outside. What I would recommend doing is just putting in some, installing new stalls out there, some new toilets out there, and then, also making improvements to, I know I had some, a little more parking. And the other thing is that we didn't do, that I did find the letter for, is that building, should have been named after, Mr. Straight. And I finally found the letter, that we received, I believe, from South Texas, Live. I think it's from Mr. Snowden, where he did have the permission of Mr. George Strait to rename that building after Mr. Strait. So part of what we're gonna work on out there is signage, naming that building, hopefully have a dedication for that. And, I'm trying to think what else I may be forgetting. I'm gonna try to sneak in a generator out there, but I don't know if that's gonna work.
Can we sneak in the restrooms at the Latino Park?
The secretary lets us, I'm dying.
Not necessary, sir.
Clarification on that, please.
It's something,
What's that, I'm sorry, generator for the civic center?
I'm asking management.
well, part of what we're gonna use for this hotel occupancy tax funds for the civic center. I think the Polo Patino Park, the restroom, that was one of the questions that we could use funds for. Okay, good. The attorney says good.
It's part of your bill.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, the one that got approved
right.
back in 2017, I believe,
2017.
2019,
No, it's 2018.
it wou've been an odd number year.
Okay, well, then it was 2019.
Okay.
So
I
part
know
of,
we talked about it in 2018.
those will be the three, I was forgetting something, I couldn't remember what else to give you, but, I know that's been a point of discussion. But those will be the three things, and they'll be minor. We had about, what was the fund balance, Jackie, around $800,000 in the hotel fund, so we have some money to do some of these projects. It won't be a lot of money, but it'll be something to make things better, if you will. Anyway, those are the goals. Anything else on?
All right, thank you very much, Brett.
Yes.
Any other questions from the council? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please raise your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. Okay, that was item HH. Now we're moving on to item HI. Discuss and consider certification of unopposed candidates for the city of Pearsall, May 7th, 2022 general elections for place 1 and place 2. This is an action item. I'll call for a vote to approve item 8I. Motion, please. Motion by Councilman Gondeta, second by Councilman Hernandez. I'm gonna turn the floor over to Crystal.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. You have in front of you is a certification of unopposed candidates for other political subdivisions for the municipality city of Pearsall. We do have 2 unopposed races this year. Place number 1, which is currently held by James Leal. Place number 3, which is currently held by Sonia Hernandez. So they automatically qualify and they will continue serving in their spots for the next 2 years. In the event that certain amendment changes, they'll be serving for the next 3 years.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yes, and subject to the amendment that we pass at that election day. So you're in for at least 2, maybe 3. Congratulations. James, you with us?
I have a question.
James, you was there?
He was there.
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, congratulations are in order.
Thank you.
All right, well, let's get a vote first. We've got a motion and a second. Everybody in favor of this, please raise your right hand. Motion passes unanimously. All right, now congratulations, James and Sonia.
Mayor Pro Tem had a question.
I had a question, but it's okay. No problem.
Okay, we voted, but you got a question? Fire away.
I was just wondering if the election code, 14, I guess this passed in 2014, but this is the first time I've seen us do this.
Yes, this is the form that we use. It's not necessary. This is the second time they've had an unopposed race. It's something that they touched on this past year for our election training for Secretary of State as well as Texas Municipal Clerks Association. So this is something they kind of pushed this year for some odd reason. So that's the reason why I'm bringing it forth. But of course, they will not be elected official until the canvassing in May, after the May 7th election.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, moving on to item 8J. Discuss and consider resolution number 2022-0301, approving the submission of a grant application for Edward Ryan Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Program and designated the mayor as the grantee's official. May I have a motion to approve item 8J? Got a motion by Councilwoman Hernandez. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Gondeta. At this point, I'm going to turn the floor over to our chief. Chief?
Yes, City Council, you have a pack in front of you. This is from the Office of the Governor of Public Safety Office, Criminal Justice Division. This is a funding opportunity, which is federal funds. It's called the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program. For short, it's JAG. And these funds are made available through the Congressional Appropriations of the United States Department of Justice, Bureau of Justice Assistance. The city of Pearsall is eligible, and we began the application process, and we had spoken about getting a source of funding a couple of months ago for the possibility of purchasing tasers. I know there was talk about not only purchasing tasers, but getting the necessary software to go with it to make sure officers are using them correctly, and as well as training. The amount that I'm looking for from the grant is $71,999.92. This amount will be covered by the grant 100%. There is no matching funds if this is approved in the final portion of the application process. The earliest we can start purchasing these tasers, if we're finally approved, is October 1st, 2022. Any questions?
Key word here is no matching funds needed.
No matching funds. I
Qualified,
promised you all that I was,
$72,000.
I promised you all that I was gonna look for funding. I'm doing my best. I know you all support the police department 100% with some other past expenditures such as the WatchGuard video system. And I wanna make it up to you all and show you that we can do a little bit of difference as well by looking for funding and covering this cost.
Questions? Hearing none, I'm gonna call for a vote. All in favor of item 8J, please raise your hand. Motion passes unanimously. Chief, and congratulations, well done.
Thank you,
That is,
appreciate it.
that is service above and beyond for the city of Pearsall and our police department. Thank you. At this time, I'm gonna call for a motion to go into executive session. It is now 7:17. May I have a motion? Motion by Councilman Hernandez, second. Second by Councilwoman Hernandez. All in favor, say aye. Aye, motion passed unanimously. Staff, we're gonna go into executive session. It shouldn't take long. Okay, Ms. Last words.